We're ready when you are.
I'm with two single moms, and you may notice I'm not Tammy nor Michelle. I am, in fact, their intern, Anne. And today I am here with Osric Chau, everyone's favorite prophet.
Hey, intern for the day. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being on here. This is my first interview, and I'm really excited about it.
Thank you. It is an honor to be your first interviewee.
Well, I think the first question would obviously be, how are you? I mean, obviously.
I'm well. We're in the middle of the Supernatural convention in Atlanta. This is our first time here. It's my fourth time in the city, and I absolutely love it here. So having a great time. Probably could use a couple of extra hours of sleep, but they'll come after.
Oh, me too. I lost a little bit of sleep, and I don't even think that it was even confirmed then. Like, we were on our way here, and then we got the email, and I was like, well, now I've got to... So our first official question is, what has it been like being a part of the Supernatural family, and are there any memorable fan experiences you'd like to share?
Sorry, what was the first part of that question?
What has it been like being a part of the Supernatural family, just overall, the fan base?
I mean, there's so much to be said about this fan base and what it means to be part of this family. I think the biggest thing for me is that I grew up idolizing, superheroes, like Dragon Ball, Power Rangers, and all that stuff. And being part of the Supernatural family and in the position that I'm in taught me that I don't have to have superpowers to be a superhero. When you have any type of power, whether it's super strength or in my case being able to just like listen to someone, acknowledge their existence, and it just brightens up their day somehow. That's a power, and it's so cool to be able to reach out and give back to this community that has given me so much, and just change the world in that way. And so that's what the Supernatural family means to me. So it's really cool to sometimes look at someone and you can see that they obviously have a skill set or talent that they've fostered for years and years, and they do it as a hobby because they're too afraid to put it out there. And all you have to say is, that is amazing. You should do this thing that all your friends have probably told you to do a million times before this moment, and because you say it, they finally do it, and sure enough, it goes really well, and next time you see them, they tell you about it. Like, those moments are so special, and there's so many of them that it's really hard to pinpoint one. So I think it's wonderful to be able to be your authentic self in a place where people celebrate it. They don't judge you, and they draw strength from it to do it themselves. It's so empowering, and it's so special to be with.
That is, gosh, that's phenomenal. I'm actually tearing up. That is, I love that. And I definitely agree. It's very important to be impactful in people's lives, and I love the fact that you are so driven in like how you just love the fact that you're putting yourself out there, and it's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it gives meaning to this career. Like at the beginning of like the whole acting thing, I'm like, wow, this is like one of the most selfish jobs I could ever have. Like, I just want to go out there and like be all shiny and have people like love me, and it felt kind of shitty to do that. But it wasn't until like this show happened that I'm like, oh, there's the other side to it too.
Yeah.
So that's really cool, and when you're really like, at the end of the day, filmmakers, we're storytellers. We're telling all these stories with these messages, and depending on what message you want to put out there, you can definitely change a lot of lives, and that's really cool to do.
I love that.
Yeah.
And the next question is, and around here, me, my mom, and Tammy, they loved this video, and basically we were all wondering, what was it like being on the Hillywood Show, and how did you get involved in that?
I met them in Spain during the convention, and I watched one of their videos, and they totally understood themselves, and I absolutely loved it. And I told them, like, this is incredible. You're not just two sisters doing little home videos in your backyard anymore. Like, they started out doing that. This is like full-scale production,
Yeah.
and you're doing a lot of it yourself. You know, you're probably doing 10 jobs each. And I kept pushing them, like, when are you gonna do Supernatural one? When are you gonna do Supernatural one? They called me to do a Walking Dead one, and it went over really well. We got along like splendidly, and then at some point they did a Supernatural one. They did Sherlock, and you know, we've got such a good friendship now that, you know, anytime they're doing one, if there's a spot for me, they're like, hey, you want to do this thing? And if I'm not working, then totally, you know, it's cool just to hang out, and to work with, you know, such a great group of people is awesome. I think they're coming to LA next week, so we'll probably do dinner while they're there.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's just like hanging out and working with friends.
Yeah.
It's always fun.
So the next one is, what are you doing when you aren't being everyone's favorite prophet, and what are some things that fans can expect from you in the future?
Most of the time, I'm not everyone's favorite prophet because I'm dead. But I try to learn. I forever consider myself a student. So right now I'm learning how to play the piano, and I'm teaching myself how to write by writing as much as I possibly can, scripts specifically, and with the hope that one day I'll finish something that I like enough to say, let me try to make this into a movie or TV show or something. So I'm doing that with most of my time, as well as being on a new show called Dirk Gently. I totally forgot to talk about it in the panel, whoops. But it's airing today, right before the concert, so I'm gonna run up to the hotel room and watch it. It's called Dirk Gently, it's on BBC America, and it is every bit like Supernatural, Doctor Who, and Sherlock, and I'm so excited for it because I saw the pilot episode already, and it's really good. So very much looking forward to that, and I mean, if the ratings go as well as how much we like the show, we'll have a season 2, and I'm definitely coming back for that. So
That's really awesome.
yeah.
So, Supernatural and show business aside, what's your favorite pastime?
I'm a workaholic. Gaming was the biggest vice for me, but I kind of quit gaming like 3 years ago because of how unproductive I am when I play games. It's such an easy pit hole for me to fall into because of the instant gratification. Like the Pokemon Go game, like definitely took a lot of my time. But now I've basically completed it until I go to Australia and Asia, so I can kind of ease off on it and really go back to being productive. So right now I'm writing like every day that I'm not like doing auditions and classes, and when I feel the need to procrastinate, I'll just sit in front of the piano and start playing something or picking up the guitar and trying to learn something else. I try to be as productive as possible. It's not easy. Sometimes YouTube like sucks me up with all these random videos of like nipples being popped and I don't know. You never know what you see.
There's always that one weird side of YouTube.
So
You just, but yeah. So I hear that you're a fan of anime, and so am I. And so here's something that I came up with. If you had to be a part of one anime universe, which one would you be in, and why?
Ooh. There's so many. I mean, I grew up wanting to be part of the Dragon Ball universe, but only if I could be Goku, you know? 'Cause everyone else, I mean, Vegeta's awesome, but everyone else kind of gets the short end of that stick. One Punch Man universe would be pretty cool, because there's so many heroes, and, you know, I'm super competitive, so it'd be cool to work there, but a lot of that is sometimes you're born with this, you know, you get typecast in a certain class of heroes. Naruto would be really cool. Probably Naruto, just because I get more control in terms of where I am. The other universes, you're kind of like born into a place, and the one thing that I love about Naruto is that the main theme that goes throughout the show, which is what I grew up with, is essentially nature versus nurture. Like, people are born geniuses or like incredibly talented at a certain thing. And then you have the other side of people who are born with no talent, and you constantly have the elite ninjas talking down on these people, like you'll never amount to anything because you weren't born into this thing. And the whole story is like these people kicking their own ass and working their butts off, like 10 times harder than these people to eventually get to their level or even surpass them. And for me, that's the most inspiring thing, because it doesn't matter who you start off with in that universe, but you can get to the place that you want to be with sheer dedication and hard work.
That's awesome.
So probably Naruto universe for that reason.
And then so as we're wrapping this up, Two Single Moms has 3 signature questions that they ask, and I think I'm going to carry on that tradition. So, were you a fan of Supernatural before being on the show?
No, but all my roommates were. I didn't even know what the show was, which was really funny. Yeah, I lived in a house full of Supernatural fans, and I didn't even realize it. I got on the show, didn't really tell them because it didn't really mean anything to me. We watched the show together. I'm like, hey, I'm on the show, it's airing today. And shortly after that, I started realizing that there were posters of Jared and Jensen and Misha on the walls that I never saw. I'm like, what? Okay. And then it was a weird transition, but we're like, well, we've been friends for this long, it doesn't make sense to like see each other any differently, and they kind of like gave me the whole rundown on the fandom and all the cons and stuff. So it was kind of cool to be able to be on both sides of the fandom.
Wow. And then the second question is, are you a fan of The Walking Dead?
I got through 4 seasons, and then I just stopped because we're waiting, and I just never picked up on it again. But I loved the seasons that I did see. The last one, what was the last thing I saw? Rick was being really weird, and I think it was like the first episode of season 4 or 5, and then I just never got back into it. I will at some point. I know it's a good show.
Yeah, it is pretty good. I've been
And
watching
shoots
it
in
since the
Atlanta.
beginning. Yep. And then the final question is, have you ever been to Kid Rock concerts?
No, I haven't. I've been to 1 concert in my life. That's not, I mean, I've been to a ton of Loud and Swain concerts, but on my own, I've been to 1 concert in my life, like a huge stadium concert. And that was 30 Seconds to Mars. It was fun. I should go to more.
We'll take you to Kid Rock.
How often does he play here?
He's in Atlanta sometimes once a year, sometimes twice a year, sometimes every other year.
He's from here, right?
No,
Yeah?
he's from Detroit, Michigan.
But he plays in Atlanta all the time?
Yeah, and he does a cruise and that kind of
So
thing.
he's like Atlanta's sweetheart
Oh,
somehow?
for us.
Oh, definitely for them.
Yes.
Funny.
Yeah, she grew up with it rammed down her throat.
Oh, gosh. You have no idea. All right, well, this has been definitely a very memorable experience, and gosh, I just can't thank you enough for not only being on their show, because I know how much this means to them, but as well as just creating this kind of memory for me. I mean, definitely everything you said is just I really loved everything you said, and it was great, inspiring.
Well, way to complete your first interview, man. You did it. And guess what? The second one, the third one, you'll progressively get better, and by your 100th interview, maybe I'll do another one, and you're gonna be such a pro. It'll be pretty cool.
All right, well,
Take care, everyone.
Bye.
that's a wrap.